Oh, you look.
Do you want a little hand?
You look pretty enough, don't you?
It looks good.
You look pretty enough.
You say so, don't I?
Right. What? Yeah. We won't do this. We always do this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with Solomon Dacres, former English heavyweight champion. How does that sound? I've heard everyone introduce you like that, Solomon. Is it pissing you off?
Do you know what? I don't pay no mind to it, because former just means we're going to go on to bigger things, hopefully, anyway. So
I like that attitude.
I don't pay no mind to that.
How was it at the public workout yesterday? You look nice. Everyone's commented on your figure, how you look like you're more in shape. You look like you're heavier. Talk to us about that and the adjustments that you've made in relation to your fitness so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always training, always adapting, and always trying to, find things to improve on. So that's all we've been doing, chipping away. The last fight was December, so I haven't been just waiting around for a fight date. I've been, developing on things. Knowing that I didn't have a fight date for a bit, I worked on my strength work a bit whilst you can.
Okay.
And then started bringing back my top end fitness work then in after. So I feel like I put some good strength on, because it's hard sometimes. When you're boxing, you've got to be a weightlifter, you've got to be a runner, you've got to be a boxer, you've got to do all these things, and sometimes it's hard to work on specific things, and in the heavyweight you can afford to sometimes work on your strength, gain a couple of kilos if that's the right thing for you. And it's hard when you're doing a lot of running and conditioning and sparring. So I focused on that for a bit, and then I managed to transition back into my fitness stuff, more my conditioning, and it's all coming together now, hopefully.
Well, to be fair, I know you're someone that always stays in the gym anyway. You've always... Fitness is something that is attached to you. You've been known for your engine. Yeah. Obviously, last time out, we got to see absolutely nothing. Nothing as frustrating as it was for us that know you.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how frustrating it was for you, but that's old ground.
Yeah.
We are here now. There was some rumours, Solomon, I don't know if you can comment on that you was supposed to be on this card initially, and then something happened, but it seemed as if the gods were on your side.
Yeah.
And you get back on the card.
Yeah,
if that rumour's true.
Something like that, but, things come around, at the right time. So, yeah, like we're on it now, and that's the main thing, It looks like a bit late notice, 3 weeks notice, but like I said yesterday in another interview, I'm staying ready, and I'm working in the gym. I've been sparring, all year. I've always sparred every week. I've probably had maybe the odd 1 week where I haven't sparred, for about 6-7 months. So then I just needed to fine tune things, really. So just the late notice. If I thought I wasn't in shape, I wouldn't have been taking it. You know what I mean? But I know that I'm ready and I'm fit for 10 rounds, 12 rounds.
Talk to me about Serenko. I've had a look at him. I had a look at his highlights, because there's not that much when it comes to like full footage of his fights. I will say it from my point of view. He's aggressive. He comes forward. Yeah. He likes to unload. His signature shot seems to be the hook to the body, then straight to the temple. We're looking at that speed. Talk to me about what you've seen of Serenko and how you plan to nullify anything that he's got coming at you, Solomon.
Yeah, he's a pressure fighter. Likes to walk him down, walk forward. But you know what kind of fighter I am. I'm very mobile, very quick. You
got good feet.
I'm not gonna be there to just be walked down. I'm gonna be hitting him hard. I'm gonna be using the angles, moving. Not saying too much about my game plan, but I'm not gonna be a static target. And he's if you look at his opponents, he's not had no lively real opponents. He's fighting sort of journeyman that ain't really got much to fight back with. So he can have his own way. It's going to be a different story on Saturday.
Devil's advocate, Solomon, I like to do that. Could we say the same about your opponents, except for obviously David Adeleye? When we look at names, recognisable names, David Adeleye was that one opponent, and unfortunately you lost against him. So when you look at opponents that he's had, opponents that you've had, wouldn't you more or less say that they're on the same level? Counteract?
No, because look at my opponents in my first
3 fights,
9 pro in my first 10 pro fights. I've fought. This is the 3rd undefeated fighter I've fought.
Okay.
I've fought not guys. If you look at the guys that I've fought, it's not like journeymen that are getting real like knocked out, loads of knockouts. I've fought a couple of guys, never been stopped. Like even in my first couple of fights. My 3rd fight, I fought Sokolovsky. That was a
good fight. That was
tough guy, and that's probably the best fight on his record. Is just beating Sokolovsky in 22 fights. You know what I mean? And I fought a couple of over the hill guys. He's fought, You know, I fought some guys that have come to win more lively. But you know what? At the end of the day, it don't even matter, does it, man? What matters is what I'm capable of, and that's what I'm gonna take care of.
Many people have said, and it was on the live broadcast when you were on the public workout, this is a must win for you. Now, everyone knows you. You're the laid back guy. You kind of relax. That's just the aura that you give off. But what does that mean to you? Because to me, to the fans, to the boxing public, it is a must win fight.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it is, man. That's why I'm winning this, and I'm back in the mix big time. You know, there's no rebuilding process. There's no fighting a couple of journeymen and, you know, try before I fight someone competitive. You know, I'm straight in there, competitive fight, sink or swim, show how good I am. And you know what? I've got the confidence that, you know, I know how good I am. So I've got to showcase that, and I've got to just do the job.
When we talk about doing the job, do you feel like there's pressure to like get him out of there? Not necessarily a points win. We're in the era now. All right, it's heavyweight boxing, and we like to see knockouts. I've already said this is me repeating myself. Do you feel like you can't just win, Solomon? You've got to put on a statement win.
Yeah.
And like I said, do you feel that pressure with that?
Nah, I don't feel no pressure with that. For me, I've just got to win because, look, you know, I'm coming off a loss. You know, one way I didn't show my capabilities, and to be honest, I think if I didn't have that last fight go the way it was, if they'd have seen me a few rounds and seen how good I was, you know, I probably wouldn't get this kind of fight. I wouldn't get this kind of fight.
Okay.
But you know, they might be underestimating me. But I've just got to win. That's gonna get me back in the picture. That's all that matters. Is W on the record. You know, obviously I want to get the knockout. Obviously I want to make a statement. But it's going to be a big statement, me coming back and beating a 22-0 guy.
And that is enough to run with.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the other fight. I know this is about you, but I want to speak to you about Kevin Lorena versus Lawrence Aoli, and obviously the main event itself. Talk to us about Lawrence Aoli, his kind of like journey, the stigmatism that's been attached to him and his style of fighting, and coming in against a hungry Kevin Lorena that really did give Justice Honey a run for his money when he fought him.
Yeah, tricky fight, Lorena, you know, and he's a dangerous fighter. Look, he had the bar all over the canvas at one point in their fight, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Was it 3 times?
Yeah. Didn't finish a job, and he could have probably jumped on him, and you know, it could have been a different landscape if he'd have done that job then. But you know, he's a dangerous guy. He's quite short, stocky guy, you know, so sometimes that can work in your advantage against a tall guy because they don't see the shots coming from underneath, and he's got winging them over the top. But Lawrence got long reach. You know, he knows how to try and, you know, nullify his opponents. I can see him putting that long jab out, you know, keeping at the end of that right hand, looking for that right hand. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. And
the main event itself, obviously, Daniel, like you said, we just spoke about him with Kevin Lorena, but he's going against the senior chess player, the winner, you know, Mr. IQ himself, the one that doesn't get the stoppages as such. Yeah. But he can play with you all day long in that ring. How do you see that fight going? Yeah. Well, you've got to... You know, you've not seen nothing from Usyk where you think that he's not going to get the job done because he's repeatedly beat the top guys twice. You know, you don't beat Tyson Fury twice if you're not something special. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, Tyson Fury is one of those fighters that, you know, in 12 rounds, it's very difficult to get his number. And, he's got his number twice. So, you know, and this is a rematch also. You look at the first fight, you know, he already had Dubois' number in that first fight. And you've got to favour him. Unless Usyk gets old overnight, you know, you've got to think that he's capable of doing what he's already done, really. And it's up to Daniel to prove that he's going to overcome that. Definitely. So when you look at the heavyweight division, we've got some new fighters coming in. Frank's got so many fighters. I was saying to Lawrence, and I'll say this back to you, Frank has got such a heavyweight stable. He's going to be looking now to potentially cancel out fighters that he's got. He's going to want to keep the quality. He's going to want to keep the ones that are going to generate him money. He's going to want to keep the champions. I said the same thing to Lawrence. Does that put pressure on you as a heavyweight? I know what your goals and aspirations are. I've spoke to you from the beginning. I know you. But when you look at the heavyweight scale like that, what do you see? And do you feel that pressure to be the best? Do you feel it? Since I've been boxing, I've always wanted to just be the best. So it's just the same. It's the same mindset from me of trying to be the best. It's a hard game. It's a hard slug, you know, and the path's never always straight, you know. Ask any other champion, you know, who's never had it all their own way. But you just got to just put everything into it and just do what you got to do. do what you got to do. Listen, it's going to be a fantastic night. I'm glad that you're on a card. You've got a chance now to prove yourself on a real good card. I wish you all the best. Solomon Dacres, ladies and gentlemen, who goes up against, is it Vladislav Serenko on Saturday night? You don't know and you don't care. That'll do. Cheers, Solomon.
Respect.
Thank you.
Respect.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.